Okay, hi. Good morning, all. I hope you have enjoyed Diwali, and after Diwali, you have lots of energy to start your new study. Is my voice audible? Just let me know so that we can start. Okay, hi. Okay, fine. So, is my voice audible? Can we start? Okay, hi. So, hi everybody. So, what we are going to do is basically we are going to solve numericals on gravitation. Our theoretical work is complete, so we can definitely go for the numerical part of this particular lesson. So, let us start without wasting much time. We'll first see the formulas which are required for this lesson, and then we will go for the numericals. Fine. Okay, so let us start. So before we get into the topic, let us try to understand this first. We'll create a list of the formulas required for this lesson, and then we will actually solve our numericals. So the first formula that is required for this particular lesson is about force, right? So let me just write it down. According to Newton's law of gravitation, the first formula you're going to require is F is equal to capital G into m1 m2 divided by r square. Okay, that is the first thing you will require. Yeah, for d square you can just write down d square, which is actually technically the one which is given in the textbook, right? So you can either write down d square or r square, that is totally fine. So F is equal to capital G m1 m2 divided by d square. If you are talking about the force between the two bodies, this is the force which is required. Second formula is you are going to require is of small g, that is acceleration due to gravity. Acceleration due to gravity can be calculated by capital G into capital M divided by r square. Okay, that is what is going to be required. That is the second formula you will be required in the, suppose let's say for this lesson, acceleration due to gravity, capital G into capital M divided by r square. The third formula you are going to require is about the force. Now force is nothing but equals to, force is equal to mass into acceleration. That you already know, but you have to modify this formula required for this lesson, and that is force is equal to mass into acceleration due to gravity, that is g. That is force is equal to mg. You can also put the value of g here, and you can again make another formula, that is fourth one. You can again go for the fifth one. Technically this is just one formula, so I'm not going to give it a separate number. I'm not going to give it a separate number because technically that is one of the same formula. You can put the value of g here, that is capital G capital M divided by r square, and you can so let's say solve the numerical. But right now we are just ending at the third part. Now the fourth formula which you are going to require is three equations of motion. But the three equations of motion which you have understood in the lesson motion, you have to change it accordingly, like which are required for this lesson. So all you have to do is you have to just replace the value of acceleration, that is a, with acceleration due to gravity. That means in each formula of the three equations of motion you have to replace a with the g. That is all that is required. So anyway you remember the three formulas, that is v is equal to u plus at. ठीक है, v is equal to u plus at. Another formula you have is that is s is equals to ut plus half at square, ut plus half at square. And the third formula you have is v square minus u square is equal to 2as. Right? These are the three equations of motion, but you have to modify them for this lesson. You have to replace a with g. A has to be replaced with g. That is the only different part about this particular formulas. So you can just write down v is equal to u plus gt. Then you can write down s equal to ut plus half gt square. And v square minus u square is equal to 2gs. So that is all you have changed, nothing more. So you have to replace a with g. Right? Now you have to understand there are only four formulas. Technically there are only four formulas which are required for the lesson. The rest of the formulas are also there, like for thrust, pressure. There are so many formulas which are from this lesson, but much of the syllabus has been deleted, and so the another part which is there, that is thrust, pressure, those kind of formulas we don't have particularly for this academic session. For this academic session, our theoretical part is complete, and these are the only formulas on which the questions will be asked in the final exam, as the rest of the syllabus has been deleted due to the COVID situation. Fine. So the rest of the syllabus is not there. Only these are the formulas which are required, and based on this, first we will try to understand what are the sample questions which are given in our textbook, and furthermore we will be moving on to the actual exercise. Fine. Okay, so let us try to understand the numericals. Whatever we have understood till now, the formulas basically, we'll be using those formulas for solving the questions. Okay, so the first question which is given is, the mass of the earth is 6 into 10 to the power 24, and that of the moon is 7.4 into 10 to the power 22. Let us first highlight what they have given. We will also write it down simultaneously, and then we will try to solve this. So mass of the earth is given, mass of the moon is also given, and distance between the earth and the moon is given, and they are asking us to calculate the force of gravitation. So they are asking us to calculate the force of gravitation between earth and moon. Okay, so that is very simple. First we have to write down what is m1. Okay, so what is m1? You can take any one as m1, so you can just write it down as mass of earth, which is 6 into 10 to the power 24 kg, right? So that is you have written. What about m2? m2 is equal to 7.4 into 10 to the power 22 kg. Then what about this one? This is the distance, right? So this is d. So distance is 3.84 into 10 to the power 5 kilometers. Now problem is the SI unit of distance is meters. So we cannot take kilometers, we have to convert this into meters. Now according to our information, kilo means what? 10 to the power 3. So you can convert kilo to meter by just multiplying with 10 to the power 3. That's it. So 10 to the power 5 into 10 to the power 3, and this will convert this kilometers to meters. So this will become 3.84 into 10 to the power 8 meters this time. So we have our distance, we have m1, we have m2. We already know the value of capital G. So everything else is known. All we have to do is use the gravitation formula, and we will be able to solve this particular question. Fine. Okay, so and you can interchange. It is not necessary that it's compulsory that you are supposed to write down m1 for earth and m2 for moon. You can interchange. Even if some students write m1 as 7.4 into 10 to the power 22 and m1 as 7.4 into 10 to the power 22 and m2 as 6 into 10 to the power 24, it's still fine. So even if some students exchange these values and write it in the exam, that is totally fine. Marks will still be given. It's not like it's compulsory to write down the values for m1 and m2. These are variables, m1 and m2. So you can replace them according to your necessity. Right? Now let us write down the formula, and we will put the values and we'll try to calculate. So what is the formula? Formula is capital F is equal to capital G into m1 m2 divided by d square. Right? This is the formula. Now you have to put the values there and you have to multiply. Okay, so let us just put the values. F would be equals to capital G. What is the value of capital G? That is 6.7 into 10 to the power minus 11 into, what is the value of M1? 6 into 10 to the power 24. What is the value of M2? M2 is 7.4 into 10 to the power 22. Okay, and what about the rest? Divided by 3.84 into 10 to the power 8 and bracket square, right? This is the bracket square we are getting because that is d square after all. Now I can understand that you might be feeling, sir, but like this calculation is very much large. Is it really necessary to do this? There is no another way. See, this is the most crude form of this particular kind of numerical. You have to use the values and you have to multiply, without which you are not going to get the answer. So better, rather than complaining that it's a very much big calculation, you have to start solving it, because the part which is there of 9th standard is this particular logic belongs to 9th standard, but this calculation is generally of just 6th standard. Try to understand this. Calculation is just of 6th standard, the formula is of 9th standard. Are you understanding? So hence you should not complain that this particular form, the values are very much great, calculation is larger. This you should be able to do this because this is a standard 6th kind of value, suppose let's say deduction. So even a student of 6th grade can solve it. So obviously you are supposed to solve it, right? Okay, so let us try to solve. Like, how can we do this? So technically, this is not my job. Okay, this is not my part wherein I am showing you how to actually do this calculation. The calculation should be done by you, but still, I will just give you the way how it is supposed to be done, so that you should remember this and you can use it for your further calculations. Fine. So I will just tell you the trick how to use this, how to what kind of method should be used to solve this particular numerical, and use that method in your subsequent questions. Fine. Okay, so you can just write down f there. You can segregate, you can separate. The first job you are supposed to have is you have to segregate the values of 10th power. Okay, okay. So this will become 6.7 into 10 to the power minus 11 into 6 into 10 to the power 24 into 7.4 into 10 to the power 22 divided by, I am going to separate these values. I am going to write down 3.84 into 3.84 into 10 to the power 8 twos are how much? 16, right? So that is 16. So basically we have received, this is 8 twos are 16. So 10th power, what we have done is we have somewhat solved the bracket which is given in the denominator. Now what you do is, after solving that bracket, kindly try to segregate the values of 10th power. Whatever the values of 10 you have, please segregate those. So segregate in the sense separate those, right? So these powers are supposed to be separated. Take it to the right hand side so that the calculation will become easy. So 22 plus 24. What is 22 plus 24? You can just calculate 22 plus 24. That is how much? 2 plus 4 is 6 and 2 plus 2 is 4, 46. 46 minus 11. Okay, 46 minus 11. 6 minus 1 is how much? 6 minus 1 is 5 and 4 minus 1 is 3, so 35. 35 and 10 to the power minus 16. The bottom plus 16 will go to the numerator side and it will become minus 16. So you have to again subtract minus 16 from that. So minus 16. So if you are subtracting minus 16, what will become 15 minus 6 is 9 and 2 minus 1, that is 1. So 19 basically. So you are getting 19. So you can just write down their answer directly. The power of 10 you are getting is 19. So you can just write down the rest of the values there. 6.7 into 6 into 7.4 divided by 3.84 into 3.84 into 10 to the power minus 19 or plus 19 plus 19. Right? Okay, so you can just write it down there. So have you understood how I have, let's say, reduced the so much of a bigger values into smaller values? First, you have to segregate the values of 10 so that it will become easier for you. Once you have done that, the rest of the calculation you can do by your own, right? So you just have to first multiply 3.84 into 3.84. That will do job easier for you. So let us do that. 3.84 into 3.84. Can somebody please calculate and give me the answer? What is 3.84 into 3.84? Just multiply and give me the answer. So let us do this old-fashioned way, easier way. 4 fours are 16. You literally have to multiply. There is no other option. It is not going to solve by itself. You have to multiply. Literally, you have to multiply. So 3.84 into 3.84. 4 fours are 16. 1 carry. 8 fours are 32 plus 1. 33. 3 carry. 4 threes are 12. 12 plus 3. 15. Plus 8 fours are 32. 3 carry. 8 eights are 64 plus 3. 67, 6 carry, 8 threes are 64 and 3, right? 67, 6 carry, 8 threes are 24, 24 plus 6, 30, okay, plus and plus, 3 fours are 12, 1 carry, 3 eights are 24 plus 1, 25, 2 carry, 3 threes are 9, 9 plus 2, 10, 11. So that is your calculation. 6, 3 plus 2, 5, then 5 plus 7, 12, 12 plus 2, 14, 1 carry, 5 plus 1, 6, 6 plus 1, 7, 3 plus 1, 4 and 1. So 1, 4, 7, 4, 5, 6. And what about the points? 4 points. That is 14.7456. Are you getting the same calculation? Please let me know in the comment section so that I can understand that you are getting the same kind of calculation. The calculation should match. The calculation should match. Kindly do it on your own as well and kindly see if you are getting the same value, that is 14.7456. Okay, so what I'm getting is f is equals to the upper part I'm getting, bottom part I'm getting as 14.7456. 14.7456. Okay. And what about the upper part? That is 6.7 into 6 into 7.4. You can multiply that as well. What is the valuation? 6.7 into, you have to multiply 6 into 7.4. 7.4. Okay, so you can do the calculation one by one. There is no other option. You have to multiply 6, 7 and 74. You can first multiply that and then we'll multiply with 6. Okay, so there are 2 points. 7 fours are 28, 2 carry, 6 fours are 24, 24 plus 2, 26 plus 7 sevens are 49, 9, 4 carry, 6 sevens are 42, 42 plus 4, 46. So that is 8, then 5, 1 carry, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 4. 4958 and 2 points. So that means 49.58. And rest you can multiply with 6. So the answer will become 6 6 are 36, 6 1 are 42, 6 8 are 48, 4 carry, 6 5 are 30, 30 plus 4, 34, 3 carry, 6 9 are 54, 54 plus 3, 57, 5 carry, 6 4 are 24, 24 plus 5, 29, and the 2 points. So that means 297.48. Kindly check your calculations and let me know in the comment box whether you are getting the same values. Just write it down in the comment section whether you are getting the same values as I am getting. 297.48 to be exact? Yes. So please write it down, 297.48. Okay, into 10 to the power 90. Fine. Now you can do one thing. You can see as you have let me just write it down at the bottom part, these bigger values, and then we will see the rest of the calculation. So have you understood the calculation till now? Okay. So 10 to the power 19. Okay. Now what you have to do is you can ignore the two values at the after, suppose let's say 2 decimal points, because anyway in the exam they are not going to ask you beyond 2 points. So you can ignore these 2 points which are not even required. That kind of accuracy we don't require. We just require 2 digits. So you can just put it up. F is equals to 297.48 divided by 14.74 into 10 to the power 19. Fine. Okay. So can you please multiply and try to divide 297.48 divided by 14.74? Okay. Can we try to divide this? Okay. So before we get into the division part, you can directly divide with 14.74 and into that. But how can we do this? Okay. For this, all you have to do is, see, if we multiply 14.74 into 10, the value will be 147.4, right? And how much value you need to reach? You need to reach 297. So that's not possible with 10. So we have to multiply 14.74. Let us just double the value. Let us just say it's 20. So the calculation will be how much? That will be 2 4s are 8. Then 2 7s are 14. 1 carry. 2 4s are 8 plus 1 9 and 2 1s are 2. So that is almost like 294.48 and the one digit. So because of that it's 294. So technically you can say you have to multiply with the value of 20. Is it fine? Is it fine with you that you are supposed to multiply with the value of 20 and that will be your suppose let's say closest value? Okay, fine. So you do one thing, you can just write it down as multiply with 1s and then 20s are. 20s are. So 20 you have multiplied, and what is the calculation you are remaining with? That is, originally it was 297.48 and you have subtracted 294.8 from that. So what calculations you are remaining with is 8. 14 minus 8 is how much? That is 6. There is 6 minus 4, that is 2. 9 minus 9 is 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. So basically you are getting 2.68. Now you can just give a decimal. You can give a decimal and this will become 26.8, right? 26.8. Now according to our information, see, even if you get it 26.8, you just have to multiply with 1, 14.74, because double that will become 28. So 14.74 you cannot multiply with 2, else we will get a number which is higher than 26.8, right? So what we are going to do is multiply with 1. That will be sufficient for this kind of calculation. So you just have to subtract, suppose let's say 14.74 from this. So the calculation will become 10 minus 4 is 6. 7 minus 7 is 0, 6 minus 4 is 2, and 2 minus 1 is 1. So basically you are getting 12.06. Now 12.06 is the calculation, but that is more shorter than the first one, right? So basically you are getting 20.1, okay, 20.1 and into, okay, 20.1 into 10 to the power 19. That is more than sufficient, because the standard format which you have to write down in the exam is, you have to first write down the number, that is 2, whatever the number is, and you have to give the decimal immediately after the first number. So the standard format is 2.01 into 10 to the power how much then? 20. Are you understanding this? How I have done the calculation? So the final answer is 2.01 into 10 to the power 20. Are you understanding this? How it is supposed to be done and all? Okay. So basically what I have done is, I have taken the point to the back hand side, subtraction what the decimal point I have taken to the back hand side, and I have written 2.01 into 10 to the power 20, and that's our final answer, that is Newton. Now one thing you have to understand here is, this is more than sufficient. Now in the book, okay, in the book, suppose let's say if you really correlate this answer with the book, in the book it is given 2.02 into 10 to the power 20. It is totally fine. It is totally fine. See, problem is that you are working with decimals. So calculation wise, if you are speaking, so your answer is feasible even if a student gets the answer something like even 2 into 10 to the power 20, or some students get 2.03 into 10 to the power 20, or some students get 2.04 into 10 to the power 20. All of these answers are acceptable. All of these answers are acceptable, because that kind of margin error which you are getting, like the like not to the exact decimal point, that is because you are working with so many decimal points. You can see here you are working with so many decimal points, so it is obvious that some kind of inaccuracy will be there in terms of decimal points. So but technically, even if some students get any answer of these values, marks will be given to that student. Fine. So the final answer is coming out as 2.01 in 10 to the power 20. So I hope you are understanding how the calculations are supposed to be done. So these kinds of calculations will require some time. So you have to give lot of you need to have a lot of patience, and only then you will be able to solve this. Fine. Okay. So let us move ahead. Let us move ahead in terms of our calculations. So this first problem is done. Let us go for the second one. Now in the second question, they have said a car falls off a ledge. Let us see what they are talking about. So they are saying a car falls off a ledge and drops to the ground. So there is, the car has fallen from a height and drops to the ground in 0.5 seconds. So the car has fallen from a height, and how much time it has taken? Only 0.5 seconds. Only 0.5 seconds were required for the car to be, suppose let's say, falling from a height, and that is all the time it required. Assume they are saying take G value as 10. So technically G value is 9.8, but you have to understand, if in the question itself they are saying to take the value of G as 10, then kindly take the value of G as 10. Are you understanding this? It is something like you must have, so let's say, solved geometrical questions, right? In class 8, even in 9th now. So in some questions they ask us to take the value of pi as 22/7. And in some questions, they ask us to take the value of pi as 3.14, right? And we generally take the value which is given in the question itself, like whatever the value they are asking us to take, we generally take that value. In the same way, the value of G should be taken whatever is given in the question itself, right? Okay. So kindly take the value of G, whatever is given in the question. Okay. So let us just write it down. Whatever they have given, we'll write it down in the, suppose let's say, given data. So they have given us that the car is falling. How much time it has taken? It is 0.5 seconds. The G value is 10 meter per second square. Okay. And what about the speed they are saying? What is the speed on striking the ground? What is the speed at which so let's say is striking the ground? What is the average speed during 0.5 second? They're also asking us average speed, and they're asking how high is the ledge of the ground. They are also asking how high is the ledge of the ground. So have you understood the question? Can we start solving it? Okay. Can we start solving it so that it will become easier for you? Okay. So let us do that. Let us do that. So for finding out that one, first what we are going to do is, okay. So let us imagine the situation first. We'll imagine the situation and then we'll try to solve it. So suppose if a car is falling from this height, okay, the car is falling from this side. Imagine this is the height, the car is initially here and it is falling from a height and it is reaching this point. Now, according to your information, what do you think would be the initial velocity? If the car is at the height, what would be its initial velocity? Don't you think the initial velocity would be 0? 0 meter per second initial velocity. It is not moving at all. It just, suppose let's say it fell from a height, but initially the velocity was totally 0. It was not moving, it was at rest. So the initial velocity is 0. And they are asking us what is the final velocity? What is the velocity here? What is they are asking? Okay, so it's very simple, right? You can just use the equation of motion, the first equation of motion, and through that we can find out what is the velocity. Fine. Okay, so what is the formula? That is v is equal to u plus at. The first equation of motion, v is equal to u plus at. But can you use this v is equal to u plus at here? No. We have to modify this because the acceleration which is present here, it has to be modified with g, right? So v is equal to u plus gt. You have to take gt. Now question is whether to take positive or negative. Whether we have to take positive or negative. So you already know that when a body is falling, suppose let's say when a body is falling, it goes to the bottom side, like it is reaching to the ground and the force is also downward. So you have to take g as positive in this case. Okay, and when g has to be taken negative, when the force is downwards, gravitational force is downward, and you are trying to make or take the object above, then acceleration due to gravity has to be taken negative. Are you understanding when to take it positive and when to take it negative? You have to take it positive if the object is falling. If you are taking the object from the bottom to the upper side, like you are taking against the gravity, then you have to take g as negative. Okay, so we have decided the value of g would be positive because the object is falling. Okay, so you can just put the values there and you can calculate the answer. U value is already given as 0, right? In the question itself, it was given that it is 0 because the car was at the height. So u is 0. What about g? G value was asked us, we have been asked to take the value of g as 10. And what about the time? Time we have been asked to take as 0.5. So you can multiply 0, there is no value. So you can just multiply 10 into 0.5. Okay, so what would be the answer? The answer would be 5. And unit would be meter per second. Okay, so this is our final answer. This is our final answer, that's it. Are you understanding how we have calculated this? Okay, so we have taken acceleration as positive because the car was falling basically. Okay. Rohan, what you are saying? Rohan, the Menti quizzes will be starting soon in the upcoming week for class 10th. Rohan Karvekar, the classes of Menti quizzes and all other revision classes will be starting in the upcoming week. This is class 9, suppose let's say class. Okay? The notification will come on the group, so you can stay connected there. Okay, now let us try to solve average speed. Now, how can we calculate average speed? What is the formula for average speed? Average speed can be calculated by a simple way. You can just take the ratio, right? You can just take the ratio of u and v. Okay, so average speed is very simple. Average speed can be calculated by, in this case, you can just add those, that is v plus u and divided by 2. You can just divide them, correct? Okay. But before we do that, first we need to find out the distance, okay? And we will match it up. First, we will try to calculate the distance and then we will go for the second one. First, we will try to solve the third one. Okay, so they are asking us how high is the ledge? How high? So technically, so let's say if this is the ledge, if this is your car, if u is 0 meter per second, and we just found out that v is how much? 5 meter per second, no? Yes. So v is 5 meter per second. And what is the time which was required? Time that was required was something 0.5 seconds. So they are just asking what is the height? Like what is the height through which the car had fallen? What is the height? Okay, so that can be found out with the help of S. Height is nothing but S here. Okay, then what is the formula for, suppose let's say S? That is displacement. Okay, that is a very simple formula. S is equal to ut plus half at square. Right? But we have to replace s with what? H, because this is displacement in this case is height, and you can write it down as ut plus half gt square. A has to be replaced with g, so that is half gt square. And you can directly write down the formula. See, I am writing down two formulas because to explain you, but it is not necessary that you are supposed to write down two formulas. You can directly write down the second formula also. It is not compulsory that you are supposed to write down the original formula and then modify it for the second formula. It's not compulsory. You can use it according to your will. Fine. Okay, so just write it down there. H would be equals to, what is the value of u? U value is 0. What is the time value? That is 0.5. Okay. What about half? G value is 10. And what about t value? T value is nothing but 0.5. 0.5 square. Okay. This will become 0. What about this one? This is 2 ones are 2 5s are. So 5 in bracket. What is 0.5 square? If you are not able to calculate 0.5 square, you can do one thing. You can change it to exponent also. You can change it to exponent so that you are not getting confused with the numbers, because sometimes the students don't understand how to square 0.5. Okay? So you can write it down in the form of exponents, which has been taught to you in your 8th grade. So that is very simple for you. Just have to multiply. Okay, so this will become 5 into 5 square is how much? 25. And what about 10 minus 1 square? That would be 10 to the power minus 2. Okay, so 25 into 5 is how much? 125, right? 125. And what about this one? This one, like the rest of the calculation, this is 5, this is 5 as a 25, and this is 10 to the power minus 2, right? Okay, so that minus 2 decimal we have to shift, so that will become 1.25 and meters. Fine, correct? That minus 2 we have to shift the values decimal points, so that will become 125 to 10 to the power minus 2, and we are using that 10 to the power minus 2 to shift the decimal, so the answer is 1.25. Is it fine? 1.25. Is it fine with you? Just write me in the comment section so that I can understand. Okay, take care. So we have received our h, right? Okay. Now can we go for this thing, average speed? Average speed. See, in the book they have given different formula, but I am going to teach you in the same way which I have taught you in your motion lesson. I am not going to change the formula just because it is given something different in the book. In the book it is given average speed is equal to u plus v divided by 2, right? But that can also be used. But I want you to use the regular formulas which I have taught you, because the way I have taught you is conceptual oriented. Like, I am not taught you according to the lessons or something like this. The way I have taught you the motion, laws of motion, it is according to the concepts. So I want to use your original concept to find out the formula for average speed, and the same formula can be used even in this case. So, okay, so how to use it? So average speed, what is the formula? Average speed is equals to total distance by total time, right? Total distance by total time. Okay, what was the time that was required for the car? So let's say to fell down, that was 0.5, right? Total time is 0.5. What about the distance? You just have calculated the distance. This is the distance what the car has traveled, the total distance. You can directly use that. That's why we calculated the third one and then we are going for the second one. Okay, so you can directly use this distance, that is 1.25. Just put it there, 1.25. Okay. Now if you are getting confused with the numbers, total distance we have calculated by the third one, and total time was already given in the question itself. Now what you can do is write down the numbers. You can separate the decimal points, that is minus 2, and 0.5 can be written as 5 into 10 to the power minus 1. Now you do one thing. You divide this 5 ones and 5 how much are 125? 5 how much are 125? 5s are, right? 5 2s are 10. 5 2s are 10. 2 25. 5 5s are 25. So it's 25 into 10 to the power how much? Minus 2 and minus 1 will give us minus 1. So this will become 2.5, and the unit in this case will be, this is what you have calculated. This is average speed. So this must be meter per second. Okay, so this is your average speed. Are you understanding how we have used our older formula to calculate this answer? I hope that is not an issue. We have used our original formula which has been taught to you by me in our previous lessons, and the same formula we have used, that is total distance by total time. And in the book it is given different formula, but you can use that as well, and you can use this as well. Okay, whatever is feasible for you, you can use it. Okay, now let us talk about example number 10.3. Now example 10.3, let us see what has been given, and then we will try to solve this. So in this question they have said an object is thrown vertically upward and it rises to a height of 10 meters. So basically this is your ground. An object has been thrown vertically upwards, right? Now can you please tell me, if the object has been thrown vertically upwards, what would be the value of G? G would be 9.8. That is not going to change. They have not asked us to take any default value of G, so you can take 9.8. But you just have to tell me whether it is going to be positive or negative. Obviously, it is going to be negative, negative, negative. The value would be negative. Why? Because the gravitational force is downward and you are taking the object against the gravity. You are taking the object up. Obviously, the value of G would be negative. Object of G is positive only if the object is falling. Okay? But if you are taking something up, then the value of acceleration due to gravity will be negative. So that is 9.8 meter per second square. What about the height? The height has been given as 10 meters. The height has been given as 10 meters. So you can say it is S. Technically that height is nothing but S. So S is equal to H is equal to 10 meters. Fine. Displacement is equal to height is equal to 10 meters. Now they are asking us the velocity with which the object was thrown upwards, that is the value they want to ask, and the time taken by the object to reach the highest point. They are also asking us to calculate, suppose let's say the time required by the object to reach the highest point. Now that is so simple, but you first have to tell me what is the value of u and what is the value of suppose let us say v. That has to be known. That has to be known. Now, whenever the object is thrown upwards, in the motion lesson also we have seen such kind of situation wherein the object is thrown upwards and the initial velocity is unknown, but the final velocity is known. Final velocity is definitely known because the object is going to fly up and it is going to stop somewhere. Whenever we are throwing some object up, it is going to stop somewhere at the, suppose let's say certain height, that is 10 meters, and then again it will start falling. So we can just say final velocity is 0 meter per second. Are you understanding this? Why we are saying final velocity is 0 meter per second? Because the object is going to stop somewhere, no? And then again it is going to drop down. Okay, so the final velocity is very much 0. Okay, so final velocity is 0 meter per second. G value is minus 9.8 meter per second square. And S is equal to H is equal to 10 meters. Now let us try to solve. So they are asking the velocity. We can easily find out the initial velocity. That means u. V is equal to u plus at. That means gt basically. This can be written as v is equal to u plus gt. Right? What is the value of v? Value of v is 0. Value of u we have to calculate. Value of g is minus 9.8. And what about t? T. Do we have the t? Do we have the t? No. Then we cannot use this formula. If we don't have the t, then we cannot use the formula. So that means we have to use some different value. Okay. So let us just see which formula we can use in which time is not present. Time is not present. Now time is not present only in the third equation, right? Time is not present only in the third equation. What is that equation? V square minus u square is equal to 2as. This is the only formula in which time is not there. So we don't require for time in this particular question. V square is 0 square. U square is what? U square is? So that is what we need to calculate. Let us modify the formula for gravity. This will become 2gs. V is how much? V is 0. So that is 0 square minus u square is how much? That has to be calculated. What about 2 into gs? 2 into g value is 9.8. What about h? H value has been given as 10, right? Okay. So can you please calculate this? This will become minus u square, right? This will become minus u square. Value of g is not plus 9.8, it is minus 9.8. So we have to write down that as well. Okay? We have to write down that g value is minus 9.8 and s value is 10. Okay. Can you please multiply now? 98 into 10 is how much? That is 9.8 into 10. That would be 98, but minus 98. What about 2 into 98? That would be 2 8s are 6, 1 carry, 2 9s are 18 plus 1, 19, so that is 196, but in minus subtraction, so minus u square. So minus and minus will become plus. Okay, minus and minus will become plus. So this will become u square is equal to square root of 196, and that is going to be plus minus 14, right? Plus minus 14. Square root is going to be plus minus 14. You have to understand this. Okay, but you can ignore the negative value. You can ignore the negative value because in this case the value should be positive. So you can just say u is plus 14 meter per second. You can ignore the negative value. Whenever you are taking the square root, you have to understand that you are going to take both the values positive and negative, right? Okay. Now let me just tell you about that positive and negative because you are just in 9th standard. So let me just tell you how it is. See, if we multiply 3 into 3, the answer is going to be 9, right? If we multiply minus 3 into minus 3, that is again 9. That is again 9. So that means 3 square is 9 and minus 3 square is also 9. So that means whenever we are taking square root of 9, it can either be plus 3, like in this case, the first one, or it can also be minus 3, right? So whenever we are taking square root of some number, you have to always say it is plus minus 3. So that means it can be either plus 3 or it can also be minus 3. And one value you can discard according to the requirement. Now you are in 9th standard, so you are supposed to write down the values of any number in the form of square root in the form of plus and minus. Fine? Okay. So we have got the answer in the same way. 196 square root is 14, but it will be plus minus 14. So we have written here plus 14. We have ignored the negative one. Fine? Okay. So this is the answer we have got. Now after this, they are asking us to find out the time also. So time can easily be calculated by the formula v is equal to u plus at. You can change u plus gt. You can put the values there. V value is 0. U value is plus 14. Okay. Value of g. What is the value of g? Value of g is minus 9.8. Right? Value of g is minus 9.8. Okay. Into t. Into t. Okay. You can do one thing. You shift minus 9.8 to the other side. So this will become 9.8t positive and this will become 40. So t is equals to 14 by 9.8. Are you understanding this? Okay. You just have to divide now. You can shift that decimal side to the other one, upper one. Let me do that calculation at the bottom side. Fine. Okay. So t is equals to, so that you can understand it better, I am doing the calculation at the bottom side. So that is t is equal to 14 by 9.8. 14 by 9.8. Okay. So this can be written as 14, 140 and 98. That decimal point I am shifting to the numerator side. Now you can divide it by 4 or 2 for example, or maybe 9. Whatever is feasible, let us see. We can divide it by 2. 2 4s are 8, 1 bacha 18, 9s are 2 7s are 70, so this has become 49, 70 by 49. So we cannot divide it more. Subsequent dividation is not possible, or is it possible? We can divide by 7 also, right? 7 7s are 49, 7 10s are 70. So that is basically 10 by 7. If you divide this number 10 by 7, so you can just write it down 1.330, 7 4s are 28, 220, 7 2s are 14. That means 6 is remaining, 60, 7 7s are 49, 7 8s are 56. So 2 digits are more than sufficient. So as the last digit is coming as 8, you can write it down as 1.43. You can write it down as 1.43. You can increase the digit of 2 because of the logic. It is the 8 digit is more than 5. So technically you can write down 1.43. So that's the basic rule of arithmetic. Like for example, like from standard 6th. So I hope you know this. Okay? This is the 6th standard rule that you are supposed to add the digit to the another one. So that I'm not going to explain much. So the answer is going to be 1.43 and the unit would be seconds. So very simple one, you just have to increase the digit because it has come round to 1.482. So you can just increase the one digit at the last end, that is 1.43. And the unit would be seconds. That's it. Okay. So we have completed example number 10.3. Now let us go for example number 10.4. Let us see how this has to be done. Okay. So mass of an object is 10 kg. What is the weight on the earth? Now what is weight? Weight is nothing but force. Okay, so you can just write it down. Value of m is 10 kg. Value of g is 9.8, which is also equals to a, right? Meter per second square. And what about what they're asking? Weight. So they're asking weight basically. But according to our information, weight is nothing but force. Force is nothing but mass into acceleration. Mass into acceleration, acceleration is nothing but acceleration due to gravity, right? So that means whenever we are asked next time, we are just going to write down the formula. Weight is equals to mass into g. Okay? This you can directly write down. You don't need to let's say derive this like each time, like weight is equal to force, then force equal to mass into acceleration, then m to g. That is not at all required. You can directly write down w is equal to mg. This is just for your understanding. Fine. This is just for your understanding. You can directly write down the formula and put the values and get the answer. Okay, sorry, sneeze. Okay, so weight is equals to mass. What is the value of mass? That is 10 kg. And what is the value of g? That is 9.8. You just multiply 9.8 into 2, 9.8 into 10, so that would be 98. So 98. And what would be the unit? What would be the unit? The answer is 98, but what would be the unit? See, force and weight are same. The unit of force is Newton. So obviously the unit of weight will also be Newton, right? Okay, so you just write it down there. Weight unit is Newton, 98. Okay. So that is done. That is done. Now, please come to the next question. Next question. The next question is, an object weighs 10 Newton when measured on the surface of the earth. Okay. The weight of the object on the earth is 10 Newton. So do one thing. You represent that by WE. You represent that by WE, that is 10 Newton. Fine. They are asking what is the weight on the moon. What would be the weight on the moon? Okay. So you do one thing. See, I have given you a list of the formulas. I have given you the list of the formulas. There is one more formula which you should add here. That is the fifth one. Weight on moon is 1/6 of weight on earth. Okay? Weight on moon is 1/6 of weight on earth. This is the formula you are supposed to use directly in the exam also. So you can use this formula. 1/6, suppose let's say whatever the value you have weight on earth, it becomes 1/6 when you go on moon. So very simple one. So please use the formula. Let us use it. So the formula is weight on moon is 1/6 of weight on earth. Put the value there. That is 1/6 into weight on earth is said to be 10 Newton. So you can just multiply it. 2 3s are 6, 2 5s are 10, and that is 5/3 Newton. Right? You can divide it more if you want. So that is 1 point. That is 20. 3 6 are 18. 3 6 are 18. And how much more? 220, right? 3 6 are 18 and 220. 3 1s are 3. Then 2. That means point. So 20. 3 6 are 18. 2 more. So that means 1.66 Newton. So basically you can just say it is 1.67 Newton. You can increase that value, no? You can increase the last decimal point and you can get the answer. Are you understanding this? Okay, so basically that is your calculation. That is 1.67 Newton. So in the exam, it is totally fine if you directly use the formula, that is weight on moon is equal to 1/6 of weight on earth. Okay, that is totally fine. You can use that particular formula in the exam also. Okay. Now I am asking you to do one thing. Kindly do one thing. Kindly go through the exercise which is given, today's job. You go with the exercise and try to solve the questions which are given at the back of the suppose let's say textbook. kindly go with the exercise which is given at the back end of the textbook, and you can ignore all those questions which are not in the syllabus. Ignore questions which are not in syllabus, not in syllabus. And moreover, try to understand this, that one more lesson is going to come. Suppose, let's say, for your syllabus of post midterm. For post midterm, one more exam is there, lesson is there. That means with gravitation, you are also supposed to complete that another one, that is work and energy. So we will be going with that lesson also, work and energy, work and energy. So, including this, there are almost like 4 lessons for your post midterm: motion, laws of motion, then this one, that is gravitation, and after gravitation, the work and energy. So, there are basically 4 lessons which you have for your post midterm from physics section. So, kindly prepare accordingly. So, you do one thing: get that exercise complete, write it down in your notebook, and ignore all the questions which are not in the syllabus. Rest of the questions you can complete accordingly. Fine. Okay, so that is the end of the session for today. And if you have any doubts and all, you can ask me in the upcoming session. So do one thing till the time our next session is upcoming. You can do one thing till that time. Kindly please complete the exercise so that whatever the doubts you have regarding gravitation, you can ask me later. Fine. Okay. So thank you so much for today, and we'll meet in the next session. Bye bye.